Hello, Wankers.
What's up, Vankahs?
Greetings, Vankahs. Guenther, what a race.
Yeah, what a race. I think normally Hungary is more like, okay, you cannot overtake. What do we expect here along Sunday afternoon? Maybe a little nap in between, But there was no time for napping in Hungary, There's always something happening, amazingly good, So pretty happy with the race, but no, it was good. Did you enjoy it?
Well, I'm a LANDO guy, so I did enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about... I was thinking of you, You must have been so proud of yourself on Sunday night, It's like, whoa, it's all about me. I'm the LANDO man, So why are you not wearing his hat?
I've got it. I'm saving it.
I'm sure you got it.
If I need to defend him at some point in this episode, I will be putting it on. I'm actually currently rocking the Mayo hat. Shout out to County Mayo, who just won the Gaelic Football Championships after a 75-year drought. It's been a good year for the teams that I support.
Yeah, Knicks and the Mayo. Yeah.
Yeah, the Knicks and the Mayo. And the movie that I shot, Finnegan's Foursome, which you still haven't seen, which you need to see, we shot in Mayo, so I have warmest place in my heart for Mayo. So Mayo won, Lando Norris won, Matt's obviously miserable as an Oscar guy. We're going to get into all of that. Because
Matt is always miserable. It's nothing to do with Oscar, it's him,
That's right. Wherever you go, Oscar Piastri is getting screwed over by the papaya rules. We're going to discuss all of that. So much happening in this race. There's a ton of drama. Carlos Sainz and Oscar Piastri are at war.
About blue flags.
Blue flags. Guenther, you are the team principal of Haas. You know a thing or two about good blue flags. We're going to be talking to you about blue flags in this episode, but so much to discuss on this episode of Vankah Hours, part of the Vox Media Network. Before we get into that, let's cue the music.
Go Fox smash my door. I'm done the fucking Steiner and I'm back for more. Go Fox smash my door. I've got the fucking Steiner and it's time for
And we're back. Had to throw a little jab in there to you, Guenther. We got blue flag drama. You know a thing or two about blue flags. What happened there?
I think I'm the expert in it. I think I got more blue flags than all the other people together, in my career, So, what we have to say about the blue flags? Obviously, there was an issue with another software issue, because we are having always software issue. I mean, I don't know why they're reoccurring. I think they need to work on their software department. I think the blue flag is FIA. Yeah, it must be FIA responsibility. Oh, that's something strange, That's something new, Oh, okay. But anyway, because
at least it's
the
a
issue...
different problem each week and not the same. Remember a few weeks ago, it was the red flag that was an issue. Then it's yellow flags that are the issue.
Safety car. You remember the yellow?
Yes. Safety car. Then it was the pit limiter, the pit speed in Monaco. I think
there's always something.
Whack-a-mole.
That was FOM. That was FOM. We need to be correct here.
Okay.
So they were measuring wrong,
No, but
apparently.
the stewards were the one that were overeager in giving out the penalties.
Yeah. They're always eager to give
back,
penalties. Yeah.
And then taking them back, and then having a whole court case over it with Pierre Gasly. So the FIA did maybe overreact to those penalties. To the speed limit. But anyway,
but
now
the
it's
software is a
thing.
problem, I think there's a lot of good software companies out there, to fix these problems,
So maybe less time in the Lego car and maybe more time trying to meet with new software companies and trying to figure out how to make these things work. So what do you think went down? Okay, so when you're racing, Guenther, and you're in last place and the blue flags are coming, what's your attitude? Fuck it. I'm racing the Williams. I'm in Haas. I'm racing Williams. I don't really care about the front markers. Or are you sort of aware that you don't matter in this race and you should probably stay out of trouble? Like, what is the attitude of a back marker team? Are you oblivious to the race around you, or are you like, hey, let's not make a bad day worse and ruin this race?
Absolutely a second. When you're there, it's like you're already embarrassed because you get the blue flag, because you get, a lap,
Right.
you get lapped, which you're not
Right.
proud of, So the last thing you want, you want to be on TV as little as possible, because obviously you're not in the right place to be on TV. I'm getting lapped here. It's embarrassing. I don't want to be here,
Right.
Let's get over with that. And, you feel actually shit, because if you get lapped, and I think, no, he was only, because he got lapped twice in the end. Was this the first lapping or the second? I think it was the first. I think
Okay.
it was the first, because they were 2 laps down. Then the Cadillacs and the Cadillacs were they were already broken
They
down.
were gone.
The Haas,
Yeah.
the Haas was 2 laps down as well. So, but if you get a lap down, the thing you want to do, you just want to be invisible. You just want to get
Right.
over with it, get away with it, because you're last. If you're second last or last, what difference does it make in life? None.
Right.
So,
Well,
Right.
then that maybe brings us to a point here, which is, Guenther, we need your Rockstar and Wanker for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's start with Wanker. Guenther, who was your Wanker for Hungary?
wow.
It's always
It
a
feels like-
loaded
is it-
category.
Well, it's one
Yeah,
of two
exactly.
options, right? And it's kind of where you put blame. Is it Carlos Sainz? Is it Williams?
Is it
Oh,
Williams?
Or is it
the FIA?
is it the FIA for this whole blue flags shit storm that we got?
We know, we cannot give it always to the FIA, because that's not, that's getting old. I would give it to Williams, but because of a combination. Obviously, Carlos did wrong, but a combination of things, Where they are, they promised us beginning of the season, we will be back, we know exactly what to do. Guess what? They're going backwards instead of forward in the moment.
Right.
So all the progress is in the wrong direction. So then you've got this blue flag drama, which the engineers just should have said, get out of the way, buddy.
Right.
It's like, and I didn't listen to the audio. Apparently they told him once, but normally you better get out of the way now. The leader is coming, Because the last thing you want, he wasn't the leader, but he was on a mission, to be the leader, because
He
just
was
said-
the
Right.
net leader at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the
Exactly.
he
He was the
was
leader,
in
yeah.
the net lead of the race at that point.
because
Right.
Lando didn't pit yet, So
Yeah.
Yes.
it was the fight for the lead, and the last thing you want to get involved is in that one, And then Carlos doing what he did, it's like, should he have not? I would like to hear the comment if the roles would have been around. Oh,
Yeah.
my God, So anyway, but I think it's Williams, because of the combination of what happened there and what happens in general at that place.
And after hitting him, he still didn't let him through. Like
He kept on.
he kept on keeping him behind. It wasn't even
Kept on fighting for a lot of nothing, huh?
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's something that has kind of gotten a little bit mixed in all the kind of chaos, is that there's the initial contact, which obviously is bad, but Carlos's excuse there was that he didn't know that he was there. Maybe the Williams guys said, Piastri's coming through, but Carlos is making a turn. He's in his blind spot. He doesn't know that he's there. But then the contact happens, and then for another 2 or 3 turns, he still doesn't get out of his way. And that's when Piastri comes on the radio and says, "Move the fuck out of the way, you idiot!" Which is the most animated that we've ever seen one Oscar Piastri. That to me is the most unforgivable part, because you have the initial contact, you don't know he's there, but guess what? You just hit him. And he's fighting for the lead of this race. You know he's there now. Get the fuck out of the way.
Right here. And Alonso, by the time, was gone. He couldn't fight him anymore, because before he was fighting Fernando.
Even if
So,
he
yeah.
was there, it's P17 versus P18. Who gives a shit?
Correct, yeah. I know how that feels, Matt. You don't have to remind me, But basically, it doesn't do anything to you. It's like 17, 18. It's a ship place,
Right.
When you see Mick Schumacher battling with Nick DeVries for that position, are you invested? Do you care? Or are you like, just don't crash the car?
Yeah, exactly. Make it painless. Whatever you do, make it cheap and painless. It's like don't send me a bill for this. Because
Yeah.
it's no point to crash for 17th. No.
It's
No
for
need
their
for it.
own self-esteem. It's for their own. It's for
I
their
don't
own.
know. Yeah, in the end, they
Yeah.
want to race. We need to understand that one. But at some stage, you need to understand. I'm actually fighting for a lot of nothing here. That's what I always said.
Right.
There's nothing.
Well,
Doesn't do it.
and then afterwards, there Piastri has come out saying that he needs to look into the mirror. It's the dumbest thing that he's ever seen on a racetrack, which is some pretty spicy words from like the Mr.
From
Mr.
Oscar,
Iceman.
exactly.
Oscar
Yeah. For the guy
Piastri.
which doesn't like to speak, who have an opinion about nothing.
Yeah.
That's right. But then Carlos Sainz has kind of doubled down. He said it was impossible on my side to avoid him. Probably better communication would have helped. At the same time, it was a racing thing. To be honest, I'm really sorry
It
for
wasn't
Oscar.
a racing thing. It wasn't a racing thing because
Well, he's
you're
called
loud.
it. He said like that's just race. He's like that's racing, bro. He's kind of given the
Daniel Kvyat.
the caveat to excuse to Vettel in China all those years ago. That's racing, bro. He's kind of said, shit happens. Essentially, is this a racing thing, Guenther?
No. If you're lapped, it's not a racing thing. I mean, the racing thing is to get out of the way if you're getting lapped. And I think you can make a mistake, but at least you should say, hey, I fucked up and that's it.
Right.
All right, that's the easy thing to say.
Is this maybe like an evidence of like he's still in the mindset of being a front runner? He's like not used to being a.
I'm Carlos Sainz.
I think he's used. I think he's used now to be, but he doesn't want to be. And
Right.
in his head is still, I need to fight, even if I fight for a lot of nothing. But at some stage it will set in, and obviously you want to see race, but it's a clear thing. If you get lapped, you get out of the way. There's nothing in between. You gotta be a good lap guy or bad lap guy. You're lapped. You're damn slow. Get out of the way.
Okay, well, we'll get into the punishment in gas or brake. More to come on this subject later in the episode. Let's move on to your rock star for Hungary. Guenther, who is your rock star for the Hungarian Grand Prix?
As much as it's hurt, it's Lando Norris, but not for him, because it's you, because you are supporter, fanboy number one. That's for it hurts. Not, he deserves it, but you don't deserve it, So that's for it hurts, Yeah, exactly.
I don't deserve it.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
deserve the satisfaction.
No.
Right,
You don't
right.
exactly. There's no reason why you should that, but he did everything right. I mean, he got pole position, got overtaken. Obviously, McLaren helped him, but even Oscar came to the conclusion he was actually faster than me.
Well, I don't know if he did everything right. I mean, I'm a Lando guy, but he did, giving up the lead
start.
on
The start, he
turn
didn't do
2
that,
was not
yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
doing everything right. I guess, okay, so this is where this comes into question. I think it is, you can't argue with the fact that Lando had more pace than Oscar. That is
Yes.
abundantly clear. But this is Hungary. This is Monaco without the walls. Pace, great. In a vacuum, that's great, but we're not doing time trials here. This is a race where track position means everything. And so I think what's been interesting about this whole debate is Lando was faster than him when they were on those same tires, and he couldn't pass him. He was arguing, bring me in now, bring me in now. No, Oscar has preferential treatment because he gets the preferential strategy. But I guess as you're kind of combing through it, Monday morning quarterbacking, hindsight 2020, it seems like maybe what happened is because Lando was pushing for them to pit him, and he was getting impatient, that they pitted Oscar early, pitted him into traffic, pitted him into this,
Into
kind of
science.
into science, with the blue flags being what they were and not in clean air. So they kind of screwed him by maybe Lando pushing their hand, and the time that he lost in that process, Lando gets ahead of him and then speeds off into the, into the glory land and into the victory. I don't know, like, it's a mesh of things that made Oscar not win this race, but like, how much blame do you put on McLaren for the result that happened?
I wouldn't put any blame on it, because whatever happened, if they undercut or overcut, Lando was faster. As long as they were there, he would have overtaken him anyway. Even
But
if
would
they
he
bring,
have?
yeah,
On an
because he was so
overcut,
much
you think
faster.
well, he couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
He couldn't do it on the same when the
On the
tires.
same
But there was
time.
another pit stop
amount of-
afterwards. Yeah. But
Right,
there was
right,
another
right.
pit stop afterwards.
He would have, in
you know.
theory, had like a 6
I
lap
think the only
tire
chance they would have had that if Oscar comes in and then they pit Lando the lap after, that he doesn't
Right.
get but then it's not an overcut. Then it's like
Right.
the same strategy, you know?
Right.
So I think they could have played that one. So maybe they forced their hand and maybe they saw that, you know, how can we get Lando by Oscar without pissing Oscar off? But Oscar was pissed off because he understood what happened. You know,
Right.
They gave him the opportunity to overcut because they knew. But then again, they saw that Lando was actually faster and they
Right.
needed to make sure they win the race. So I understand. Once he was in free air, Lando, he was so much faster than Oscar. So leave him out there. The lap times still keep on coming, you know. So, I mean,
It's this weird it's this weird thing where in trying to please everybody, they end up pleasing nobody, really.
yeah.
Except Lando.
And then it sorted out itself, you know.
Yeah.
With Oscar retiring, you know.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say
mean,
say it was because of curb strikes. Is there any credence in the thought that, like, hey, Carlos Sainz hitting him had anything to do with
No, that has nothing to do with it. Because it was the gearbox, as far as I understood.
which
The
is in the
gearbox,
back of the
gearbox,
car?
Yeah,
right?
no, that has nothing to do with Carlos. No.
No, okay.
Don't blame Carlos for everything here, you know?
Tinfoil
not?
hats.
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Yeah. Leave him alone. It's enough now, you know?
Also, in theory, the undercut was really the preferential strategy in Hungary. Everyone's talking about how powerful the undercut was, but because Lando has so much pace on the overcut,
Exactly.
he was able
Yeah,
to make it
exactly.
stick.
To make it, yeah.
Combined with the fact that Oscar had the few outlaps that he had that were hampered by all the blue flags. Misha Goss. I guess this brings up a question, though, you know, beyond the drama of this specific race and beyond Oscar's disappointment and the drama with Williams, McLaren seems to be back online. I mean, Lando in Spa said that he had the pace to win that race. Obviously, he started 10 positions back. That was never going to happen in that race. But he said in terms of his pace, that he thought he could have won. And now, in a vastly different track in Hungary, even though it's one of Lando's favorites, you know, they have the performance that they do. Is McLaren back for real?
I think they're back in the mix, but it's real, yeah. They're back in the mix for real with Ferrari, Mercedes, and them. I think Red Bull is now the weakest link in there. I mean, Red Bull can do it. I don't think Red Bull can win in the moment, but Red Bull, the Max Red Bull, you know, call it like this, because he's always, I mean, he always pulled something off. He was surprised himself to finish second, you know. He didn't know how he did it, you know, but anyway, we know how he does it. He's just, if there's an opportunity, he takes it, you know. So, but yeah, I think McLaren is back to be a contender, but this year it changes around so much. I mean, on Friday, everybody thought Ferrari will win this easy, you know, but it's Friday. We keep on forgetting it's bloody Friday, you know. So on Friday, I mean, it counts, but it doesn't count, you know. So,
but that brings me to a question about Ferrari. Do you think that Max kind of it was between Max and the grid penalties that Lewis suffered? Do you think Ferrari actually could have been a player in this race if it wasn't for, you know, Lewis's grid penalty and Max just being a cork in the bottle? Do you think Lewis could have actually made a play for this win?
I don't think he could. I think Lando was too strong. I think the McLaren was too strong in the race. I don't think he could have won. Obviously, he could have finished better than fifth at the end, you know, on the podium. Yeah, but to win, I think McLaren and Lando's, they were very strong.
I want to ask you a question about Ferrari real quick before we get back to McLaren. Do they want to win a championship? Do they care? It doesn't seem like they care. They're sort of like Lewis gets, they fall asleep at the wheel. Lewis gets these ticky-tack penalties every week, and then they don't seem to fight them. Like, Lewis is too classy to really make a big stink of it like Max would. If Christian Horner was a team principal of Ferrari. I mean, he would be going nuclear on the FIA for all the. He would be banging the drum that the FIA has it out for Lewis Hamilton, and he would create a big stink, and he would get all the Lewis Hamilton fans up in arms, all the tifosi up in arms about how unfair this all is. Stewards with Max, they think twice before giving him a penalty. And he rarely, when it's a 50-50 thing, or even if it's 60-40 the other way, like Argentina in the World Cup, they don't give Max the penalty. He gets away with everything. And I really think that it's like, what are you doing? He's in second place. He could feasibly win, considering where Antonelli finished. He could have made a serious jump in the championship this week, and they just kind of like, do they care? Why aren't they trying harder here?
I think you're right, but on this occasion, it's a number. He was 0.1 kph over the limit. It's a number. You cannot get away. That's a penalty. You cannot talk that away. They have to give it. That's not 50-50. That's 100%. You are wrong. You know, and I read somewhere a comment, he was so little over it. Why there is no tolerance? I mean, and then everybody goes to the tolerance, and where do you end the tolerance? The tolerance of the tolerance, it's 50 kph or 80, how much it was. I think it's 80 in Hungary. I think it's 80.
Right, but these speedometers are so,
Yeah, they are correct. It's not a speedometer. It's the distance they measure, you know. The time
which we know has been
speed,
foolproof. Which we know is bulletproof. And can't
now
ever be wrong. And can't ever be wrong. So maybe there should be a margin. Hey, it was 0.1 over. Considering that we've really fucked these equipment that we use is not infallible. No. Maybe give him the benefit of the doubt.
I have to defend the FIA here. It is right.
I think if Max was 0.1 over, they would go gulp, and they would think real hard about taking P2 away from him. I think they would think real hard about it.
No, because you get the printout of all the cars which went into pit lane. All the teams get it end of the race, and you can see how fast the people went. So if it is over, it's over.
How about the 5-second penalty at the start in last race?
In
Spa.
Spa.
When he hits, who did he hit?
Russell.
George Russell. That was such a ticky-tack penalty. You know, they just take it. They take every penalty he gets on the chin.
Different. I told you that's different, maybe, you know.
Okay.
That's maybe different. And what I said, you know, it shouldn't be a penalty there. You know, my opinion about penalties. But if it is a number, it's a number. You know, it's 50 or it's 80.1, how much it was, you know.
Now, is that a Lewis screw up with the, you know, in theory, don't these guys, they hit the pit limiter and the car just like kind of goes to the right, you know,
yeah,
kph,
but if you push it too late, you are just this much, when you go over the line, you are this much faster, you know, and yeah.
He just pushed it a little bit too late. I saw this thing that he pushed it early and somehow that actually screwed him up. But anyway, there's merit to the idea that they seem to just accept whatever punishment comes their way. And I think if there was, I mean, Matt's arguing for them to be irrational and do things that are crazy. But sometimes crazy has a net
helps
result.
You
like
to get a result.
If you're crazy for a reason, and if you fight things that are seem to be well, it's a number. But if you every time you make us think about it, every time you're gonna raise hell, it might make them think twice about calling a penalty when it is a 50-50 ball.
But you cannot raise hell if it is a number because you look stupid, you know. So all the other cases, that's where I said it's not a yes or no.
Sure.
Some of them you need to raise. I mean, you need to raise hell in Spa. Obviously, I would do that one. In qualifying as well, he got the penalty. You know, I mean, in Hungary, he got the the beating.
Well, that was in theory. That was like his team, not informing him.
The other thing that has come up is that the GPS was faulty. So the engineers didn't have solid GPS information for that race.
Software problem, I guess.
It was the blue flags in combination with the GPS tracking the cars. And that's why Toto Wolff was calling the engineers Teletubbies. He was like, they just watched the screen, right? Because I think Antonelli had some problems with Bortoleto. I mean, Bortoleto didn't crash into Antonelli, but Bortoleto didn't respect blue flags with Antonelli. And it's like, use your eyes, right? So I think there was a mitigating you could argue that Ferrari didn't necessarily know about impeding because of the GPS, but Lewis had just passed him, so like use common sense. I don't know.
But I agree with you. Even on the number, I don't agree. But on the other stuff, you need to try to find a way around to say, no, it wasn't us. Because after a while, you wear them out. You wear people out.
Right.
They don't want to have the argument with you every weekend, you know.
Right.
Or I give this guy a penalty again. And then the old idiots come in and try to convince me different. Some say, as you say, 50-50.
When Kevin Magnussen got one of his 1,000, 5-10 second penalties, were you screaming about it every time, or how did you handle that?
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
You're screaming about it.
Until the team manager said, I'm not allowed to the stewards anymore because I'm offending them. It's getting personal. Yeah.
Thank you. So they thought twice. They thought twice every time because they're like,
but
if
the
I
stewards
give this...
actually loved it when I got there because I met one of them at the MotoGP race and he said, we miss you because all the bullshit and lies you told us in there, it was quite entertaining, you know.
So maybe you did a bad job because you were too entertaining in your arguing, and they were like, I can't wait to see Guenther's reaction to this.
But that is with a few years hindsight at the time. But you get insulted, how about your intelligence. That's not nice, you know. So,
Is this like a Ferrari? We do things a certain way. We don't want to embarrass ourselves. Quality. Is this like a maintaining the integrity of the brand?
Standards. It's called. Yeah.
Why don't they hire like an enforcer or something? Why can't they hire like a sporting director, maybe Guenther Steiner,
which is an asshole? Yeah.
Like why couldn't you? Why don't they just hire like an asshole
just to go to the stewards? Just to go to the stewards.
Luca Brasi,
right?
Like a Luca Brasi in The Godfather, right? Who does the dirty work and just goes to the stewards and creates hell. You're available. You're Italian and available.
Yeah.
They do this in hockey. They do this in basketball. There's like kind of guys that go in there to kind of rough up. I'm going to get 5 quick fouls and rough up the main guy. You need like a kind of political version of that in Formula One. I feel like those guys they don't exist in the F1 world anymore.
You two guys are creating new jobs in Formula One here.
They got we're available for hire.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting in shape for my wedding. Let's go.
Yes.
Let me add some stewards. Stewards.
But you don't need muscles. You need the biggest mouth in there.
Well, he's already got that.
I think we got that covered as well.
Yeah, exactly. We got that covered with you too. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Guenther, we're entering into the summer break, and the Formula One world is in a little bit of a state of flux in terms of who has the best team right now. Of the top 4 teams, if you had to do a power ranking of who the strongest teams are, what's your top 4 look like?
Now you ask me a question. It's so close together in the moment that it's stiffy. But I still see Mercedes as the best one. I still see them as the best. But now after Spa and Hungary, I don't know if it is. And very close to Mercedes, Ferrari and McLaren. Between the two of them, very close. Equal. Can I do that? Yeah. Number 2. Yeah.
Brian for those of you listening at home, Brian just rolled his eyes to the back of his head.
My eyes are on the floor right now.
Yeah.
You're not under oath, Guenther. They're equal. You love. I know you have only one child, but I love both of my kids equally. No, you don't. You have favorites.
So then I go with Ferrari.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Okay.
You have to choose Ferrari over McLaren, and then Mercedes. I mean, Red Bull at the bottom.
Let me ask you a different question, Guenther. You're Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a different question. You're Max Verstappen. You can go to any team you want for 2027. Let's just pretend that's any team you want. What's your first choice?
Mercedes.
Second choice?
Teammate. Who would you have as a teammate?
I'm just going by like who's going to have the best car for 2027. The way things are going.
Okay. For 2027, I would go to McLaren.
For second choice?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Ferrari probably?
Then Ferrari,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Steiner,
Then Ferrari.
You don't
that's-
think...
Yep.
I'm interested by this. You don't think that considering McLaren's history of bringing these upgrades, that they're going to figure out the engine eventually and they're going to surpass
They
Mercedes?
figured it out already, yeah. So they don't need to make their own one, because
So-
we told them to make their own one and didn't like that. So they figured this one out,
Right.
That's right.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago. Now we're saying something completely different. We're new men, obviously. And then, but I'm saying isn't there a strong argument based on last year that McLaren could surpass Mercedes?
They could, but I don't think so,
Why not?
I think Mercedes now they will do the same job as McLaren, or even a better job. I believe that Mercedes has got a good grip of these regulations, so to develop their car in the right direction.
You think that the head start they got will continue to,
rear
its head?
exactly,
Matt,
yeah.
what's your top four? How does your top four break down?
I think McLaren is going to be better next year. I think just based on the rate in which they've I think Max Verstappen screwed them last year and fucked up their development because they had to put in all their energy into securing Lando Norris and screwing Oscar Piastri. They had to, all their focus went on that. And now they're finally catching up. And I think McLaren is going to be the best team for they're going to come online in the second half of the year and into 2027. I'd say McLaren, Mercedes, then Ferrari. That's what I would say.
I agree. I think that the second half of the year might
but
be.
you just see Lando Norris, so
year.
who cares about you,
Well,
so.
neither of you even had him on your podium in the predictions, and I had him finishing third, and he exceeded my own expectations. That's how strong. I don't know. I think the last few years, I think it's foolish to, in the same way that it can be foolish to discount, and count Max Verstappen out, I think it can be foolish to count the McLaren development team out, even though it's taken them a little bit of time to get online. Speaking of developments, Aston Martin brought the upgrades.
They did a very good job, and where did they end up? As we said, they got 2 seconds faster. They're still outside of the points. But fair play to them. I mean, you can't critique from where they were, where they went. They passed by Williams, Haas, Cadillac. All these guys are telling, we bring upgrades, we do this, that, and the other. Doesn't work. They did a complete new car in a very short period of time. And obviously, it's not where they want to end up with, as being Aston Martin. But at least they got some satisfaction out of it, because I think we all doubted that they would come back at all. But they did. I mean, now if the new engine comes as well, that will help as well.
Guenther, in a cost cap era, what advantages, because we're looking at Williams and Haas, and we're saying, hey, how are they able to do that, right? How are they able to just pass you in the span of a season, in half a season, in a cost cap era, so drastically? Is there some advantage that we're not seeing that Aston Martin has, that Williams doesn't have, and that Haas doesn't have?
I think what they've got very good facilities, a very good infrastructure where they can produce stuff cheap, within the cost cap. And also, they didn't bring any upgrades. They didn't spend any money, in bringing upgrades, while Williams and Haas, they're bringing upgrades all the time, but obviously they don't do what they are supposed to be doing, because I think Haas brought a big upgrade in Barcelona or somewhere around there, big upgrade. I mean, didn't take them anywhere. Williams is continuously bringing upgrades, with lighter parts and stuff like this, but it doesn't take them where they think they should be going. And Aston Martin didn't do anything. They have not brought anything until this point. So
they bet it all on this one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
and it works.
So
that's pretty
so
risky, right? That's a pretty big,
Oh, yeah.
That takes, in my mind, some balls to bring all your to wait on bringing upgrades, bring them all in, halfway through the year almost. And then if they don't work, then you're really shit out of luck. But they seem to work well.
What did they have to lose, Brian?
I mean,
Yeah,
some people
exactly.
felt like they probably had their jobs to lose, right?
They couldn't have
People
gotten any
probably had-
slower.
No, I mean, if they get slower, nobody would notice anyway, you know. So at that point, you know, it's like, yeah, you do it, and you know, try your best.
Right.
So
And
Guenther,
they-
what I'm learning from you today is that Haas actually has to pay more for each part than Aston Martin does.
Yes.
So each dollar that Aston, because they have a better infrastructure, each dollar that
Yeah.
Aston spends goes farther.
Yeah, exactly.
That
yeah.
is an advantage.
Yeah, it's a big advantage, you know.
Uh-huh.
And Cadillac has got the same issue because I think they produce nothing in house, or if they produce something very little, you need to go to suppliers, and that it will cost you
Right.
more, and it's also
So
more
it's the
difficult to
upfront.
plan.
It's the upfront money that Lawrence Stroll
the
put into
investment
it.
exactly over the years, over the last 5 years he put in there. It's now you know, working. Also the wind tunnel. Cadillac and
Right.
Haas don't have their own wind tunnel. Aston
Now we
Martin
know
has
that-
got one of the best ones.
Right. We know that Haas is never going to do that. We know that Gene's not going to front for wind tunnel. You know that better than anybody. Will Cadillac in the coming years do that in theory? Will they develop their own, you know, facilities and try to be on that same level as Aston Martin where they can bring upgrades in a way that's more effective?
I think if they are serious about competing, they have to do. If you're serious about winning, you need to do it, because how can you not do it? I mean, if you see a clear pattern there that everybody else is doing it, how can you achieve more with less? You know, and I think Cadillac, you know, if you're a private team, it's one thing. You decide not to do it. You don't want to win. It's fine. But as a Cadillac, you cannot just be in Formula One to participate.
Right.
So, but in the moment, I mean, I'm not aware that they are building a wind tunnel, or I think they're building a big facility in Fisher in Indiana, near Indianapolis. But I don't think there is a wind tunnel in the works. I think there is some manufacturing capabilities there, but you know, to get up to the standards like these English teams is difficult.
Let's talk about Fisher, Indiana for a second. In researching for our book, which is coming out soon, pre-order it. Link is in bio.
Which you wrote the foreword for. Thank you very
the
much.
best
Guenther.
Formula One book, so everybody should pre-order it. You know, is it
Yes.
on
Guenther
pre-order
really
yet or
said
not?
some.
Yes, it's
Really
pre-order.
Guenther said some really nice stuff about this. You know,
Yeah, about
that
the two
we
Wankers,
changed his entire life. That we you know that we're
To
the
worse,
smartest
yeah, not to
guys.
better. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
trying to find the.
Yeah,
Let's see if we can find the picture of Guenther in here.
Oh yeah, let's show.
I got it.
I don't think you've seen
Guenther,
this yet, Guenther.
This is you. Wait, hold on.
Get it closer to the
This is
camera.
you.
Looks good there.
This is you giving the
Jesus
middle
Christ.
finger.
That's you as Alexander Hamilton, Guenther, and you're
You
giving
can
the
take
middle
it away
finger
now. Yeah, exactly.
while on the phone.
Yeah.
You look great there. You look
Yeah.
amazing. Anyway, pre-order now. Yes, but what about Indiana, Matt?
Yeah, but what
well,
did you
when
want
we
to
were
say?
researching about Ferrari, that just simply being in Italy was a challenge to get big engineers. The big time engineers didn't want that lived in England didn't want to move to Italy, which is I just flew for my honeymoon from England to Italy, and 2 hours, 3 hours, not that bad. Is it going to be a challenge to get people in Fisher, Indiana, or are they gonna be like Haas and they have like some satellite place in England?
I think they always will have a satellite place in England, but I don't know how many people. I don't know their plans, how many people they want to move to Indiana, or what exactly. If they want to manufacture in Fisher, but it will not be easy, as you say, to find the people and get the visas. You know.
Before we get to gas or brake, I want to talk a little bit about George Russell and what the hell happened there, because, you know, we'd like to think that there's a title battle that can happen at some point in the season. It's getting more and more bleak by the day and by the race. This seemed like it was at least an opportunity because Kimi had the yellow flag infringement that George seemed to not have. In Austria, he tried, let me try a George Russell in Austria and see if I can throw my nose in there when there's the yellow flag and not get penalized for it. He was penalized for it. They were starting next to each other, and then the anti-stall. He gets hit with the anti-stall. Is that 100% a George Russell fuck up there?
I don't know. Normally it is, but I think there was something with the turbo. If you go too high something, it goes into anti-stall. And I don't know exactly how that happens, but I think Mercedes took some of the blame themselves there.
Okay.
So, did they just do it to make him happy, or was it real? I don't know. But I think he got very lucky to get away with it and not getting hit by anyone.
Right.
By sitting this far up front, still for how long he sat still, is like, you need to be lucky as well. This was not unlucky, he was lucky,
Is it possible that he could win this championship still, Guenther?
It's getting harder and harder to say politically correct, So, it is, everything is possible, but I think it's getting very, very, very hard.
If you had to give him a percentage chance, he currently has 160 points to Kimi's 219.
I give him 5%.
5%.
5.
Yeah. How much you give him?
That
Zero,
seems
knowing
about
you
right.
neg-
That seems about right, honestly.
Okay.
This seems bleaker than Lando Norris's chances.
Yeah.
Way bleaker.
Way bleaker.
No, it's depressing.
This is also the gap there between the two of them. The time gap. It's unbelievable.
Right. They're not even like close in qualifying.
Exactly,
when Lando and Oscar were kind of like
it was always a
battling
fight.
in front.
Yeah.
It was like a fight that Oscar had the better of for the first half of the year, but it wasn't like it's a half second every single qualifying.
Fine.
Every single practice session. It's crazy.
Also, now that they're not a rocket ship anymore. So when George has a bad weekend, he's not going to finish right behind. He's not in qualifying. He's not going to, or in the race, he's not going to finish right behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's going to
when
go
Kimi has a problem, he will not gonna outright win the race or get pole.
Right.
He's not losing only against Kimi. He's losing against a lot of other people as well.
Right. Yeah. Because like when Lando had a bad week in the early stages, he would just finish second. It wasn't that bad. So he could hang
It's not
around.
gonna happen, and it's not happening in the moment.
No.
It's pretty rough. Which actually leads us to this little question before we get to our final segment of Gas or Break. Silly season is upon us. Who should we be looking out for in terms of movement, whether it be this year or the years ahead? What conversations do you think are starting to be had around the paddock in terms of what drivers are on which teams?
I think there's a lot of interest of drivers to go to Audi for 28. I think for next year they are pretty set, but I think there is maybe a possibility in 28 at Audi, and that's quite an interesting place because they're making good progress. I mean, it seems to be on track, what they are doing.
Yeah.
So I think there will be quite a few candidates. I would say Carlos for sure. I think George is also looking around now, knowing that he's now with Kimi. I mean, he doesn't want to stay with Kimi the rest of his life because then he knows where he is the rest of his life. So trying to find new opportunities.
I want to talk a little bit about the most recent signing that Red Bull just made, stealing from one Mercedes-Benz, the man who found Kimi Antonelli.
Gwen.
He is the man who discovered Kimi Antonelli is now at Red Bull heading up their junior program. Gwen Lagrue. Yeah. Is that a big signing there for Red Bull? Is that a good person to essentially replace one helmet Marco?
Absolutely. I think Gwen and I was quite surprised that he's leaving Mercedes. I mean, they must have made him a very good offer because he's very close to Toto, the guy. He was there a long time. And it's I think he's the spotting talent and knowing that it's not only spotting it, knowing what's going on in all the series. Gwen is doing it, I think, longer than longer than anybody else. Therefore, he has got that advantage, and he knows what he's looking for. So he's absolutely. I think that was a very good hire from Laurent to get Guenther for the future.
Longer than Helmut? I seriously doubt it. I think Helmut's been doing it since the Odyssey.
Okay, so watch this space. That brings us to our favorite segment, gas or brake.
Williams should part ways with James Vowles.
Brake. As much as I think he's not doing a good job, but I think you need to at least give him time to read all his emails, which he got the emails beginning of the year. He knows what to do. He just didn't have time to read them. So let him read his emails, find a solution until the end of the year. If he hasn't got to all the emails by the end of the year, then let him go. But in the moment, give him time to read his emails. He's very busy, racing himself and all the good stuff, so just, calm down, guys. Let him read his emails.
How long do you give him to read his emails? How long is the email reading time limit?
I think it's beginning of next season. If it is the same as this season, I think they went into spam or they were deleted, these emails, and he needs to go with them. Yeah.
I was gonna firmly disagree with you, but then I realized no, this is good. Give him more time. You got to give people time to read the emails.
Exactly. Yeah, that's important. You need to be fair.
Yes.
They are long emails, because there's a lot to be fixed on that car, So.
To be clear, when you say the beginning of next year, you mean like the first 5 races of next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it is continuing the way that it currently is,
this
5 or 6 races into 2027,
there will changes.
You've had enough time to read your emails and improve things, and if you haven't, then you're out. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Guenther, what about who would you replace him with? I gotta say, Guenther, you're pretty prompt. You're pretty prompt at responding to emails. I will say that.
I don't read them at all. That's why I respond to them. So, yeah.
That's right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Sounds good. Exactly. Go ahead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Who would you replace him with?
No idea.
What's the Jonathan Wheatley situation? Because he seems to, was he in witness protection? What's going on with him?
I think his gardening leaf, he looks after, it's very hot in Europe. They need to water a lot the garden. So Audi left him at home to water the garden. So let him do that, look after his garden,
Okay.
Leave him alone for it. But he would be a candidate next year to read the emails which are stuck in the inbox
which
of
James couldn't get to it.
He couldn't get to it.
I understand that. Well, he's got this summer break. Maybe he can catch up on a few.
That's right.
Matt,
on the beach. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gas or brake? Should Williams part ways with Mr. Vowles?
He should be given the chance to read the emails. So I agree.
It's all about the emails, Matt.
Yes.
I'm going gas because I use Claude, which is one of the sponsors of Williams. And guess what? You can have Claude go through your emails and give you a nice little update. Hey, Claude, what happened on my email? Can I get a little update? So, maybe you could use a little bit of a Claude help from Anthropic and figure out what's going on in those emails. I think... Listen, is mid-season the time to do it? I don't think so. You don't want to, cut off your nose to spite your face. But I think it's fair to say that the James Vowles project has failed, and it's time to move on. Next prompt.
From Nocus Lennis, Aston will finish ahead of Williams in the Constructors.
Let me give you the point. Let me give you the points. Is.
11 and 1, I think it is. So, yeah.
Yes. Aston has 1 and Williams has 11. I'll also throw this in there. Audi has 12.
I think gas because I think they've got a big chance if the new engine comes and the engine is promising that there's enough races to pick up 2 points here, 2 points there to get to 11, because I don't think that Williams is going to pick up any points anymore.
So I'm going gas. Gotta be gas. I mean, Williams is standing still. They've already taken a big leap. It takes it even, there's a buffer period when you got to understand these upgrades. They don't even have all the information on how to optimize the upgrades they have. So they're only going to get better. And the engine's coming, and Williams sucks. So yeah, their free trips into Q2, Carlos Sainz's free trips into Q2 are over. And Fernando Alonso will be scoring at least 12, 13 points by himself.
Yeah, I'm going gas as well. They're getting an upgrade in Zandvoort. It's coming in the next race, and if the engine can be half as good as this aero update was, then I think they'll be sitting pretty with one Fernando Alonso. We'll see what Lance Stroll can do. And James Haas has already said that all eyes are on 2027. Well, we've heard that song and dance before. Next prompt.
From Chiara Leahy. Carlos should have gotten a harsher penalty for his collision with Oscar.
Gas. Yes. Right or wrong. I mean, and anyway, nothing would have changed anyway. So just make a point, that you don't do that. Under whatever software glitch or whatever it is, it's blue flag, they are out there, get 10 seconds as normally. Don't try mitigating circumstances. Who cares about mitigating circumstances, It was clearly blue flag, yeah. And 10 seconds, it's standard, and he should have gotten that, and nothing would have changed anyway.
He did say in his quote, he talked about, it's okay, I took 5 seconds, but I don't care. I'm fighting for P18, so it is what it is. So 5 seconds, 10 seconds, it wouldn't have made a difference to him. I guess the thought is that, like, if you're really going to try to get these guys to not do this going forward and get the teams and all the powers that be to pay extra attention to, back markers and blue flags, then you need to give a harsh penalty and maybe make an example out of someone in order to drive a little bit of fear into people's hearts.
No, first you need to make sure that the systems work, that they know that there is a blue flag out there properly. That is the first thing you do. So I think they use that as a mitigating because they know that,
right.
They didn't help the situation, so.
I'm going full gas. I'm going like, grid penalty for the next race, something bad.
For the next 2 years,
for the next
qualified for the next 3 years, destroy his career,
Lewis Hamilton got a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Oscar Piastri. That really fucked up his race.
And yeah,
Carlos Sainz got a 5-second penalty for doing way worse to Oscar Piastri.
Right.
Way worse.
I think Oscar was not lucky last weekend.
0.1 in the pit lane. 0.1.
I'm going gas as well. I think it should have some type. If it's not going to have an effect on your race, there should be some type of deterrent, because a 10-second penalty, even still, if you're running in last, wouldn't really mean anything. We heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Next prompt.
George won't finish in the top 3 of the World Drivers' Championship.
He will finish in the top 3. He will finish in the top 3. He will not win the championship, but he will be finishing, I even think, second. But if he doesn't get second, he gets third.
Okay.
That's sitting on the fence, so yeah.
No, it's just I'm laughing at how generous you are. You're like, I think he could even finish second.
Yeah.
Like that's such a you're so magnanimous. I'm going gas. This is just gonna. I don't see a way for him to stop the bleeding here. I think Lando's coming online. Lewis is looking strong. I think he might finish 4th. There's a possibility he could finish 4th if McLaren keeps this progress up, and the reliability of the Mercedes keeps going, and Lewis Hamilton stops getting fucking penalties. I think he's in for a real terrible season.
Yeah, it's terrible. Finishing 4th in Formula 1 is terrible. Yeah, okay.
When your teammate wins the championship, it is terrible.
It's all relative. When you're supposed to win the thing, and then you're looking now for places, maybe you're trying to go to Audi after you were supposed to, go into the greatest team.
He will finish in the top 3 anyway. He will not finish 4th. Don't worry.
Higher you go, the fall, or the harder the fall.
Fall, yeah.
It's all relative. I think gas. I mean, it pains me. I thought that he was really going to turn this ship around, but it's looking bleaker and bleaker by the day. And if the McLaren continues to be what the McLaren looks like it might be, I could see Lando getting in front of him. I could see Oscar getting in front of him. And who knows if Red Bull figures something out for the rest of the year, I could see Max getting in front of him. It's going to need a real. I hope that this is not the case, and that George Russell has a very relaxing and very kind of setting doing everything correctly. Maybe he does a little bit of ayahuasca during this summer break. He needs to go lick a frog and have a shaman bring him through some type of spiritual experience because this boy needs a hard reset. George Russell, please prove me wrong. I'm saying gas, but I'd love to be proven wrong. That does it for this episode of Vankah Hours. Just an update on the championship battle. As much as it pains me to say this, Guenther, you are still in the lead, even though you said that Lando Norris was not going to be on the podium. You did get Max in second and Kimi in third, so you got 6 points in this last thing. So you're at 35. Matt, you're at 25, and I am at 24. But we got a lot of season left, including Malaysia. Guenther, what can you tell us about Malaysia?
Very good racetrack. Very good racetrack. Very good that they are back, you know. I mean, how quick they did the deal. Again, it shows what F1 is capable of doing if they want to do something, you know. It's... But no, it's good that they are back because otherwise, you know, with now in doubt the last 2 races, Qatar and Abu Dhabi, it would be a short season. So at least they got something back. And and the racetrack, there is good racing going on there. The drivers like it, you know. It's well prepared as well because MotoGP is there a lot testing and racing in Sepang. So no, it's all good. You know, it was a very good choice.
Do you think we're getting any more of these this year? If the last 2 races really don't happen, do you think any more races going to spring up?
It's just difficult because there's not many racetracks which can pull this off, and this was only possible because Bahrain helped. You know, Bahrain helped basically. You know, so and I think in Europe in November, December time, it's no point to race in Europe. The risk of the weather is too high. So I don't think there is a lot of and then you need to go somewhere where it makes sense, where it for the teams to go there, that they are not just losing money. There needs to be an income as well. It's you know, it's a business. So I think it will be difficult, but I think they did that one. They did Malaysia now to make sure that there are at least over 20 races. I mean, I think for sure Stefano ideally would want at least a minimum of 22, but I just think it's difficult to find a 22nd place where to go end of the year.
Or do you repeat a place? Do you do what they did during COVID and you have the Styrian Grand Prix as well as the Red Bull? You know, do you do the Austrian Grand Prix and the Styrian Grand Prix? You run it back.
I think you could in theory do Las Vegas twice, huh? In theory. I don't know if they can close the roads or not, but is it actually, yeah, it would be a cheap way to make more, but do you really need more than 21? If it is just, you know, going somewhere twice, obviously, I think there would be less people watching. You would not selling the same. So I'm not personally a big fan of doing 2 races in the same place.
All right. Well, we'll watch this space. We're going to have more content for you guys coming from Guenther and Vankah Hours over this summer break, so do not fear. Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure your notifications are turned on. And I just learned this new thing on YouTube where you can hype up a video. You can click a thing and say, I like this video. Let me hype it. So if you see that button available to you, please hype us, baby. Hype us. Get the word out. Vankah Hours, part of the Vox Media Network. We will see you soon, Vankah Nation.
Goodbye, Wankers.
Bye, Vankers.